Então, a primeira defesa é cobrir. Depois, estou aqui coberto.
Next, I need to escape my left knee from between my opponent's legs, so I come up onto my foot and wiggle my knee free.
Vou tirar pouquinho o joelho da perna. E vou adiantar essa
Once accomplished, I step my right foot over my opponent's head and secure his arm. From here, I can finish the submission while my leg is still trapped between my opponent's legs, or I can use my free foot to free my trapped leg.
Ou posso também tentar tirar a perna e ajeitar e atacar.
Again, my opponent secures the Kimura, and I place my arm between my legs to eliminate his leverage. I straighten my trapped leg, step my free leg over his head, and attack his arm. I can finish with my leg still trapped, or I can free my leg and then finish. Once more, I am working to pass my opponent's guard, and he surprises me by locking in a Kimura. I place my trapped hand between my legs, free my knee, step over his head, sit, and attack his arm. Again, there are two ways to finish. You can apply the submission with your leg still trapped, or you can free your leg first.
Tira essa perna de dentro. Mais uma vez, pouquinho mais rápido.
Notice how I'm keeping my right shoulder low and tight to his chest here. This prevents my opponent from gaining the leverage he needs to finish the submission should he manage to strip my arm free from under my leg. So, he attacks with the Kimura, I defend, pull my knee out, and go for the arm lock. Now I show a simple guard pass that is used quite frequently in MMA. From the half guard, I place my free foot on top of my opponent's near leg and press down. At the same time, I move my head to the left side of my opponent's head to maintain my balance. Placing my head on the mat, I drive my weight forward, force his leg toward the mat with my free foot, pull my trapped leg free, and move into side control. Like I said before, I establish a hook on my opponent's leg with my free foot, move my head to the opposite side, drive forward, and move into side control. A little faster. Once more. I establish my hook, change my head, and pass. This can be a very safe guard pass in MMA if done correctly, and it can be very effective as your opponent grows more tired and sweaty as the fight wears on. But it is critical that you switch your head to the inside of your opponent's head on this pass. Otherwise, your weight will be distributed far across your opponent's center line, allowing him to easily sweep you as your center of gravity rises while executing this technique. Now I spar with my brother using the half guard techniques I just demonstrated. Now we'll demonstrate some ground and pound techniques from the 100 kilos or side control position. When in side control, it is very important to establish a solid base and to constantly apply downward pressure on your opponent. Once accomplished, you have many options to strike. You can elbow your opponent in the face. You can drop hammer fist to the side of his face. You can trap his near arm between your legs, which prevents him from defending against your strikes.
Se ele quiser tirar o braço, eu faço pro cervix e bato.
You can also turn into him and place your knee against the side of his head, opening up even more options to strike him. From this position, you can drive elbows into the opposite side of his head.
Aqui tem ângulo para bater.
You also have the opportunity to pull your opponent towards you and place your knee on his stomach. From the knee on belly position, you can drive in elbow strikes and hammer fists.
Aqui eu tenho o cotovelo. Batida.
Now a little faster. You can drive in elbow strikes, trap your opponent's arm between your legs and strike both sides of his head. You can turn into your opponent, pin his back to the mat, and strike him. You can also turn into your opponent, drive in elbow strikes to the side of his head. Then you can pull your opponent into you and establish the knee on belly position and strike from there. From the side, elbow and punch. Trap his arm and strike. Turn to the side, elbow. Pull him into you, establish the knee on belly position. Land more elbows. Now I spar with my brother from side control using the ground and pound techniques I just demonstrated. Now I demonstrate how to lock in the Kimura submission from side control. To start, I pull my opponent toward me using my right hand and move my left knee over his head. Notice how this forces his right arm across his body, isolating it. Assuming this position immobilizes your opponent. To finish the submission, I assume a figure 4 grip on my opponent's right arm and apply pressure. One more time. I hook my right hand underneath my opponent's left arm and pull him toward me. Next, I move my left knee over his head and place it on the mat. To apply the submission, I pull his right arm toward me, establish the figure 4 grip, and finish. By stepping over my opponent's head, I'm taking away his ability to sit up. If I allow him to sit up, it will greatly reduce the amount of pressure I can apply to his shoulder. Now I show a technique for transitioning from side control into the mount position. When you want to make this transition, it might feel natural to simply step your leg over your opponent's body, but a lot of times he will trap your leg as you bring it over, putting you in his half guard. To prevent this from happening, I'll place my knee on my opponent's stomach instead. Next, I'll walk my far hand forward, forcing my opponent's left arm toward his head. This action provides the room I need to slide my knee over my opponent's stomach and drop it down to the opposite side of his body. One more time. I'm in side control. I place my knee on my opponent's stomach walk my forearm forward to force